this interview. We are going to start. If anyone want to, going to join late, so they can have, this benefit. So, Archita, before, how you are feeling, right now after the clearing of exam, judiciary examination, कैसा feel कर रही हो? Just जो,
So, I think I had a chat with you that evening only the result आया. For the first 10 minutes, I was numb. I didn't know what to say. I was shocked. I was even checking my gender that maybe they have mistaken or something like that. But then when I was sure that it was me, I was relieved. Very relieved. Very relieved. Matlab, I cannot tell you in words how relieved I was because this time it was very strange. The result was strange and everybody was like, we were all just thinking कि किसी तरह से हो जाए. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of time. मतलब 3 साल में अगर एक वैकेंसी क्लियर हो रही है तो इसका मतलब it's taking time.
Okay. So in this long journey for the preparation, how you get encouraged to, prepare for the judiciary? Because there are so many students, those who are, after the passing their examinations, sometimes they opt for the, go for the practice, or some of them join corporate sector, some of them, went for the judicial preparation, and after 1 year, 2 year, when they find themselves, they are not able to, crack, so that they return back for the practicing. So for you, how encourage that you will be going to join the judiciary apart from practicing or running anything?
See, sir, I have started when I was pursuing LLM. My initial thought was to pursue judiciary only. But then when you start doing LLM, you get a little bit of encouraged to go into academics and work there. And fortunately, I cleared my net. I think I cleared net twice or thrice. The thing was that
Wow.
when you start clearing net, your first thought is, "Arey, I can teach." Because net is there, you have one certificate in your hands and you are eligible to teach. The problem is that what you really want. My inspiration was that what is my passion. I was teaching, I was happy, but I was not satisfied. Still in the back of the mind, मेरा यही था कि ठीक है, teaching is nice, teaching is good, teaching is very good. But मेरा end ये था कि judiciary is there, judiciary मुझे करनी थी. तो even though मैं पढ़ा भी रही थी, मैं in the middle of the session I left the job, I started preparing, और I went for it. And I just know one thing that अगर आप hard labor कर सकते हैं और आपको पता है आप करने वाले हैं, तब there is no chance कि आपका नहीं होगा judiciary में, आपका होगा ही होगा. There is nothing that can stop you. तो मेरा इंस्पिरेशन ये था कि end of the day अगर मुझे यही चाहिए, तो मेरा प्लान भी तैयार करने के लिए मेरा प्लान भी था, बट मैं उसको बहुत देर तक अबाउट परस्यू नहीं कर सकती थी क्योंकि जुडिशरी एक एज बैरियर फैक्टर के साथ चलता है. जो एज आपको जितनी है उसमें ही आपको करना है, नहीं तो आपका एज लॉस हो जाएगी, फिर कोई फायदा नहीं. तो मेरा यही था.
So one more thing, Archita, if many people, is before going to go for the judiciary, they are confused about subject. क्या सब्जेक्ट लें सो दे दैट दे विल गोइंग टू स्कोर मोर, और सब्जेक्ट को लेकर के थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन रहता है. तो इन एवरी स्टेट दे आर हैविंग डाइवर्स अप्रोचेस. सो हर स्टेट में बेसिकली प्रेफरेंसेस दे आर गिविंग टू sometimes the political sciences, they are sometimes student prepare for science also, sometimes the constitution, history, there are so many diverse. So how you will going to suggest a student, because this purpose of interview is to join all the student. Almost I think we have 21 apart from us, 19 student is joined, and 19 not sorry 20 student is joined. And so they want to know that which subject will going to help to get more score, और score के purpose से देखें और हम specialization के purpose से देखें. तो at least you can suggest for different states what will be our approaches to clear.
इस रेफरेंस में I would like to divide the subjects, मतलब divide the states according to your preference. अब होता क्या है, जहाँ पे आपकी लैंग्वेज बेल्ट नहीं है, जहाँ पे मतलब हिंदी नॉन हिंदी स्पीकिंग एरियाज हैं, जैसे गुजरात है, महाराष्ट्र है, आपके पास वेस्ट बंगाल है, जहाँ पे लैंग्वेज एक एलिमेंट है, उनके बाद अपनी लैंग्वेज है, वहाँ तो आपकी चॉइस कम हो गई क्योंकि उनकी लैंग्वेज अगर आपको नहीं आती, आपको बंगाली आती है तो वो स्टेट आपके लिए बहुत अच्छा हो गया, या गुजराती आती तो वो बहुत अच्छा हो गया, पंजाबी आती तो अच्छा हो गया. उस पोजीशन पे वो लैंग्वेजेस बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग फैक्टर रखती है. लेकिन अगर आप सिर्फ हिंदी स्पीकिंग बेल्ट में आ जाए, जहाँ पे सिर्फ हिंदी, वहां पे आपको स्टेट्स को कैटेगराइज करना होगा। जैसे हमारा उत्तर प्रदेश है, बिहार है, और सेम लाइन पे उत्तराखंड है। ये 3 स्टेट्स एक कैटेगरी में आते हैं जो अपना बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रेस जनरल नॉलेज और साइंस पे देते हैं। यहाँ मेंस का सिलेक्शन प्रेफरेबली आपके अच्छे मार्क्स होने चाहिए जीके और साइंस, क्योंकि बाकी लॉ सब्जेक्ट्स में बहुत ही मार्जिनल मार्किंग होगी, सबकी सेम होगी। आपने बहुत अच्छा लिखा होगा तो 5 या 10 नंबर का डिफरेंस होगा, पर इससे ज्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं होगा। आपका पूरी की पूरी स्कोरिंग चली जाएगी जीके जीएस पे। एक सेकेंड कैटेगराइजेशन आता है जो है छत्तीसगढ़, मध्य प्रदेश और राजस्थान। यहाँ जीके नहीं है, मतलब इनका जीके इतना है कि बस प्री मेंस में इनके पास कोई जीके के पेपर्स नहीं है। तो आप वहां अगर जीके प्रेफर नहीं करते तो आप उन स्टेट को ऑप्ट कर लीजिए, आपके लिए बहुत इजी हो जाएगा, क्योंकि वो जीके फ्री से हट जाएगा। तो वो आपके पास एक एलिमेंट हो गया कि वहां पे आप उस कैटेगराइजेशन को करते हैं। तो आपको चूज करना होगा कि आपकी प्रेफरेंस क्या है, क्या आप किस पॉइंट पे स्ट्रॉन्ग है। अगर आपको लगता है कि आपको आपकी जीके जीएस स्ट्रॉन्ग है, आपने पढ़ी है 11th-12th में, तो आप कर लेंगे, तो आप चले आइए। बिहार के लिए बेटर है आपका, उत्तर प्रदेश एक अच्छा स्टेट है, उत्तराखंड एक अच्छा स्टेट है। लेकिन अगर आपको लगता है कि नहीं मुझसे जीके बिल्कुल टच नहीं हो सकता, मैं नहीं कर सकती, तो उस पोजीशन पे आपके लिए मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़ और राजस्थान खुल जाएंगे। और अगर आपके पास लैंग्वेज की अगर प्रेफरेंस है, आपके पास कोई पर्टिकुलर लैंग्वेज है, तो बहुत ही अच्छा, आपको लैंग्वेज वाले स्टेट प्रेफर कर सकते हैं। और दिल्ली और हरियाणा एक अलग बेल्ट है, दिल्ली हरियाणा पंजाब वो एक बिल्कुल अलग बेल्ट है, क्योंकि वहां का पेपर बहुत अलग स्टाइल का होता है। वहां लैंग्वेज नहीं भी होगी तब भी वो पेपर बहुत अलग स्टाइल होता है, वो सब कुछ मिक्स कर लेते हैं। तो वो एक बिल्कुल ही थर्ड बेल्ट है।
Okay, then another is, after PT and mains, interview is one of the, the main issue that we have seen. Interview में, क्योंकि basically whatever you are going to prepare for interview, sometimes वो कुछ नहीं होता है। और interview whatever we have prepared the mindset, कितना भी prepare कर ले तो वहां जा करके लगता है कि is people are more is smarter. Sometimes we feel is we are more smart, and then suddenly what will going to happen, वहां पे क्वेश्चंस इस तरह के आते हैं जिसके कारण बहुत सारे हर्डल्स स्टार्ट हो जाते हैं। तो वहां पे इंटरव्यू के लिए किस तरह का, जैसे बहुत सारे लोग मॉक का भी तैयारी करते हैं, मॉक के थ्रू, और मॉक भी हेल्पफुल होते हैं। तो आप व्हाट यू विल गोइंग टू सजेस्ट लाइक फॉर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर इंटरव्यू, इफ people are cleared PT mains and last stage is interview, तो वहां पे जाकर के सेलेक्ट नहीं होना बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम होता है। तो इंटरव्यू के लिए आप कुछ शेयर कीजिए।
For interview, my tips would be that number 1, take a mock. Any institution, anything. I'm not saying go directly to Rahul's or some very reputed organization. Any organization, you think that the teacher is well versed with the subject, उसको सब कुछ आता है, go for it. Take mocks. Why? Because number 1, you have no idea how to answer that question. Because see, if you have prepared contracts, you have prepared TOT, you have prepared IPC, CPC, CRPC, everything, but the questions are going to be very different. They may not ask you a direct question. They may ask you a very twisted question. So you need to be prepared to answer that question. You have to be prepared that you're not going to go blank. Because if you're blank, they will know. They will surely know. And if you're coming to any particular state where Hindi is spoken or where they have a regional language, prepare to answer in that particular language. Because you may say you are an English medium student, they will ask you pure Hindi questions, pure language questions, and you have to answer in that particular language. There is no shortcut to that. And one more important point is that, which I feel, is whenever you're going to an interview, please be very well dressed. People will say that, okay, you can wear anything formal. No, please don't do this. Bihar is very particular about their dress, the attire. Rajasthan is very particular about the attire. Madhya Pradesh is very particular about the attire. If they have spoken that you need to wear some particular formal attire, it would be preferably a coat, pant, shirt, or a sari. Suits are used, I think they are used, but it is not very much preferable. If you can carry a sari, carry a sari. So in interview, be very much prepared that you can be asked anything under the sun is a syllabus. Okay, you cannot say that I have opted for these 5 subjects, so ma'am, I will not answer the question which is coming from IPR, or I'm not answering question coming from corporate law. You may say I am not well versed in this particular topic, I will read on it, but don't say that I have not read anything about it, like I have no idea, I've never seen, and I will not answer. It's a very bad gesture to make. Say I'm not very confident, so I will not answer the question, but I will show you later. So my tips are these, and I really want to share something with everybody that when I went for an interview, this was my first interview for the examination, and when I went inside, there were certain questions which I was not very well versed. So don't think that if you're not answering maybe 5 questions or even 3 questions or 2 questions or 1 question, that you won't be selected. There are people who have answered a lot of questions and they have not been selected. Because sometimes they don't judge you on how much you can answer. They judge you on your patience, how much confident you are, how much polished you are, and you are not eager to answer. You're answering after understanding the question, when you are very sure about it. Which we say in Hindi, you don't have to be verbola. You just have to be very precise, confident and precise. But not somebody who is to answer everything which is being asked.
Okay, Archita, if you don't mind, can we ask, like what kind of questions that you have answered in the Bihar Judiciary Exam?
Of course, there is no secret ingredient that I don't want to share. Okay, when I entered, their first question, yes, very first important question they like to ask, what you were doing after your LLB. If you are pursuing an LLM, tell them you have pursued an LLM or you pursued an LLM, you have pursued an LLM. Now, their next question would be that when you have once pursued the LLM, what are you doing afterwards? If you are teaching, then be very sure that you say teaching, the next question would be why not teaching as a career? So, prepare your answer well. So, they asked me this question, what you did? I said LLM. Then they asked me after LLM, I said I was teaching. But I said I was teaching, I left the job and I am preparing. So, they stopped for the moment that, okay, you are not very much into the line of teaching. So for that particular point, they just left me keep it. So it's fine. But they will ask you these questions that what you have done. Now, once they are sure, okay, fine, this particular portion is clear, then they will ask you a second category of questions, which would be like, for example, they will take up constitution. Constitution is a must. They will ask you questions from constitution, be it any state. And constitution is a dynamic subject. So they can keep on answering you. They can ask you any question, like for example, any new case is there, they will ask you. And in reference to constitution, they will ask your opinions. They want to know your opinions. Like in hijab case, what is your opinion? Love jihad, what is your opinion? So be very sure if a matter is still sub judice, if it is pending, don't say this is my opinion. Say the matter is still before the court, the honorable court will answer the particular aspect. But if they stress upon that you have to answer this question, be very diplomatic. You cannot say that this is my particular opinion, I am negative about this aspect or positive about this aspect. Be very diplomatic answer. Your answer should be very diplomatic that okay, this is the particular thing and I think this. So like for example, if somebody asks you hijab, then you can say that religious freedom is a very celebrated right. And discipline also is an important aspect in education. So we have to maintain a balance. If it comes from wearing hijab, it is fine. If we think that discipline and religious freedoms both can be enjoyed if you are wearing a uniform, then that has to be respected. So your answer should be very polished. It cannot be raw. Raw answers are not appreciated. And then your direct questions will also come. Like if you say thought, they will ask you very simple. They have asked you dominant sign in Syria. What is dominant sign in Syria? They can ask you. They are just checking how much you know. Are you confident in answering or not? They have asked me IPC questions. What is a criminal conspiracy? Can there be a direct charge of criminal conspiracy without joining any other offense? And they have asked my personal opinion on euthanasia, whether euthanasia should be allowed, and if it allowed, whether it's going to violate the right to life.
What was your answer?
I said passive euthanasia should be appreciated. It should be allowed, provided we have safeguards after Aruna Shamba case. However, if you say it is right to life, then what is life if you are not able to enjoy the minimum pleasures of life? If you are not able to eat, you are not able to sustain yourself, then there is no life. It is mere animal existence. So in that case, I think passive euthanasia is allowed, and many countries have done that.
Okay, and Archita, if suppose the question asks one question and even I don't know the answer. If second question maybe asked if I don't know answer, then how we will going to react? Sometimes the first question is asked and is first question even if we are not going to answer, then student feel discouraged or demotivated
हाँ.
in the first question itself. So then in that situation, how the students will going to handle if पहला ही question से नहीं answer कर पाएंगे?
This happens. Sometimes you are not very well versed in CRPC, and the first question is from CRPC. So you may get a little disheartened कि मुझे तो पहला ही question नहीं आया, अब ये मेरे बारे में क्या सोचेंगे? कि I'm not very smart, I'm not very good. It may happen that the second question is also connected with the first question. तो वो भी आपको नहीं आएगी क्योंकि आप बहुत strong verse नहीं है उस particular subject में. आप ये कर सकते हैं कि जब आप second answer नहीं दे रहे हैं, you're not answering, you very politely say that sir, I am not very well prepared for CRTC, so I'm not able to answer this question, but I will read further on. They will understand कि आपका ये particular subject या particular area prepare नहीं है और वो बहुत ही politely खुद ही वो area change कर देते हैं.
Okay.
वो इस पे ज़्यादा deal नहीं करते क्योंकि board में ये समझता है कि there are students, they get marks.
Okay, Archita, as you know, the purpose of this interview is to allow, the students is having, whatever the doubt and clarification, even they will going to ask the questions to you. So I think there are so many students, almost more than 29 student is joined, and they are having some questions in their mind. So before I'm going to allow the questions, I will encourage the students, those who are having questions, so they can prepare, they can turn on their video, and in the video mode, if they will going to get asked questions, they will introduce and it will be good. So before they will get ready for video, so I will going to ask what kind of the Archita that students or maybe you have faced hurdle for the preparation, and that the students can avoid, जो आपने फेस कर चुके हैं, at least they will not going to face again, so they should avoid and get prepared for the judiciary examination.
My hurdles were like, my biggest hurdle was a war against time. It is a very time-taking process. It will take almost a year if the vacancy is going full speed. If it is going to get delayed by any case like COVID or any Khushi, you are just a second, sir. You are saying that you have some problem and you want to type a question. It's fine. Okay. So my biggest problem was against time. It is a time-taking process. You have to be very consistent if you are preparing. I will not say that stop enjoying your life or you don't have to go out or do something, but if you are preparing, you have to prepare, you have to sit down, you have to study. There is no alternative options. People were telling me that what are you doing? You are just sitting inside your house for 2 years and what will you do? There will be no point in doing this. But I will tell you, if you are not sitting in your house and you are not studying, it is not going to give you any result. The base study itself is going to take you a year. If you are starting from the scratch, if you are well prepared also, you have to revise each and every subject thoroughly. Because if you want to know how I was qualifying every the answer is, I was very well versed with the bare acts. And for being well versed with the bare acts, you have to read them minimum 3 to 4 times before you are appearing for an exam. So when I was giving any mains or I was giving any pre, I was actually revising third time when I was giving the exam. So you have to be very focused. You have to divide your time that by the end of the day, when you're giving the exam, you're revising it the third time. Unless you do that, you will not be confident while you are marking the pre-questions. Because the questions are very straightforward. They're going to ask you very simple question. Even if it's coming, for example, from dying declaration, they're not going to ask you section 32 dying declaration. That they know that you know. They will simply ask you one particular case out of it. If you have not read it, if you have not thoroughly revised it, you will not be confident in answering those questions. And there are many laws, many acts. I think Rajasthan, Gujarat, they have outstanding number of acts. Delhi also has number of acts. So you have to be very confident while answering the questions. If you are not confident, you won't be able to answer 3 questions, and many of the states have negative marking. So you are going to suffer more. I still remember when I was giving Haryana pre, there was one marks negative for four marks question. So I remember I was marking the free paper, and once I was reading it, I think at 392. When I think I crossed 392, I just stopped answering the paper because I knew my pre was going to be out. मेरा pre हो गया है. So you have to be very well versed कि हाँ ये question जो मैंने लगाए हैं they are correct. ये तब होगा जब आप बहुत ज्यादा रिवाइज करेंगे. ये बहुत बड़ा हर्डल है कि अपने बेयर एक्ट्स को स्ट्रॉन्ग करना है. वो स्ट्रॉन्ग आपके एक बार हो गए तो डन. तब nobody can stop you pre.
So now the turns of students will going to start. Neetu is also there. Neetu is having some question or clarification, anything she will also. And apart from that, so students, is I will going to encourage to all of you. If internet is slow, then of course I will not going to stop you. You can just unmute and you can ask the question. But it will be encouraged if you are turning on video. We will have some interaction with. So is there who will going to start?
Ma'am, I have a question. Okay.
Okay.
Just I'm not asking question, but I'm requesting you, ma'am. जैसे कि आपने अभी जो बताया, I'm going to write down everything कि यूपी, बिहार एंड उत्तराखंड के लिए क्या स्पेशल स्ट्रेटजी लेनी चाहिए, देन एमपी, छत्तीसगढ़ और इसके लिए क्या होना चाहिए. फिर अभी आपने बोला कि बीआर एक्ट का को कैसे यूज करना चाहिए. तो वाइल स्टूडेंट विल आस्क क्वेश्चन, तो उसमें 2-3 चीज आप ट्राई करिएगा उसको आंसर करने का. दैट हाउ दे शुड स्टार्ट लाइक फॉर पीटी, स्पेशली लाइक व्हाट काइंड ऑफ बुक्स दे शुड प्रेफर, then what kind of books they should prefer for mains, and then interview, like especially books का जो होता है और material कहाँ से पढ़े. So इन्हीं के question में आ जाएगा वो, they will definitely ask. So I think my student will ask. Okay. Yes guys, you can put your question.
Yes, Pragya.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Pragya. I'm from third year in my BLLB honors. Ma'am, I just wanted to know what was your schedule when you were preparing, like hardcore preparing for this exam.
Okay. See, I have friends who used to tell me that they used to study 18 hours. That is not possible. I have not done it. Okay. Most of the people I know used to do that. They have a particular schedule of like studying 5 hours or 6 hours a day. I don't have a schedule. What I do is that I pick up one particular subject. I know it's a risky venture, but I do that. I take that one particular subject and I, according to the gravity of that subject, for example, CRPC. CRPC is a strong subject. You will require 3 to 4 to 5 days. If it is the first reading, you will require almost 7 to 10 days. So what you do is, you start with CRPC, take out your bare act, and I study from morning till the time in the evening you can. And I have, like, continuously I was doing. It doesn't mean that I'm not getting up, I'm having lunch, but there is no break in between. If you ask me about social media, I don't have any social media accounts active for the entire duration of my preparation. There was, sir also knows, there was no WhatsApp, there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, nothing I had. So there is no distraction. You are not looking at every 5 minutes to any message, it's not coming, nobody's calling you. Okay. So what I used to do, I used to take my bare act, I used to start studying. During the time I was reading the bare act, with that particular bare act, take your reference book. Take for example, CRPC, Kelkar is there. Okay, Kelkar book is there. I know it is very lengthy book. Okay, but you don't have to do a research in Kelkar. Okay, just remember one very important aspect. You are not appearing for a research paper. You are appearing for a competitive examination. Whatever they are asking you, you just have to answer that particular aspect. You don't have to write any research material. You don't have that time. So, for example, in CRPC, if they are asking you what is FIR, you just have to write that particular section. What is an essential of FIR? If there is a relevant case, okay, you have to write a particular relevant case. For example, there are certain guidelines in cases in a reference to FIR. Like FIR registration is mandatory. You cannot have an optional FIR कि मन हुआ तो register किया नहीं तो नहीं किया. वो सब नहीं है. तो वो सब cases are important. During that time, prepare your notes. There is no separate main study. Whatever is you are doing in pre, you are preparing for the mains also. Okay, prepare your notes side by side with that particular subject topic and keep it for yourself. Okay, don't make lengthy notes. What I mean lengthy notes is you don't have to go into those areas which are not covered, like which are not at all important. In chemical, you will find many pieces of information which are not important from the perspective of competitive examination. Okay, so leave those particular areas and just make your particular notes. You will, if you are doing notes making and reading, it will take more than 10 days because you have to read each section. Be very clear. You can't skip sections in your para. CRPC, the only portion I have skipped is when you're accused is an insane person. Okay, that particular chapter you can leave. The questions have never been raised, they will not be raised because that's not an important part. People will say कि तुम selective study कर सकते हो CRPC की, don't do it. Don't at all do it. क्योंकि वो होगा क्या? The kind of paper, the kind of questions are changing. The examination boards are trying to make new questions. अब उनको नए questions बनाने तो where will they get the area? CRPC में ऐसे बहुत से portions हैं जहाँ पे question raise हो सकते हैं, वो होंगे. इंसेन वाला पोर्शन ऐसा जिसमें से क्वेश्चन रेज नहीं होते वो नहीं होंगे. तो अगर ऐसे हुआ तो इस पोर्शन इस तरह से आप एक एक करके एक एक सब्जेक्ट को खत्म करते जाए. अपना पहला इम्पोर्टेंट स्ट्रेस डालिए कोर सब्जेक्ट्स पर. कोर मतलब सीआरपीसी, सीपीसी, आईपीसी, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एंड एविडेंस. ये पहले प्रिपेयर होने चाहिए. बाकी सब्जेक्ट्स आप करते हैं प्रिपेयर, वो आप स्टेट्स के अकॉर्डिंग करते रहेंगे. ठीक है. आई थिंक आई हैव आंसर्ड योर क्वेश्चन.
Vaishnavi, I think, is having any questions.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Vaishnavi and I'm in third year of my BA honors course. Ma'am, my question was how to work on the aspect of answer writing. Because as I have seen, it's very difficult to compose answers in a very short and presentable manner. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So for answer writing, for Bihar, I will be very frank, I have not practiced answer writing. For by the time I was giving Madhya Pradesh, I have started practicing answer writing. So for answer writing, see, there are many coachings which can offer you this mock test series. But don't take it. What they do is, they take previous year questions from all states and they will jumble them up and create one paper for you for a particular subject. Then if that has to be done, you can do it yourself. There are books which are having mains questions from all the states. There's one book from Single, जिसमें mains के सारे questions होते हैं from every state. Okay, so you can take that particular book. Once you are prepared with one subject, I'm not saying one topic, I'm saying one subject. Take up that particular book, take up 5 or 6 questions, start writing that particular questions, answers. Don't take a lot of time. Why I'm saying this, that your answers, let me just tell you one thing. For Madhya Pradesh, you have to write one answer within 7 minutes. That is how I calculate my time. 7 minutes you have to answer that particular question. If you are not answering, you are going to be late for the paper. So prepare yourself accordingly that max to max 10 minutes you are taking to answer one question. If you are exceeding 10 minutes, either you are writing too much content, you are not able to properly design your answer. Now, every answer, when you're writing an answer, every answer has a particular thread. What I'm saying, thread. Like for example, I give you one example. When you read Constitution, Part 3 is a fundamental right, Part 4 is a directive principle. Okay? But if you see the thread, Part 3 says that a citizen's liberty cannot be abridged. Okay? So you're given particular rights. Part 4 says that when you are giving liberty, how will you ensure that a person is enjoying the liberty? Certain directives are given. But the thread is liberty. Okay. So in that particular, in the same line, whenever you see a question, for example, dying declaration is there, for example, any particular topic you can take. Dying declaration is still in my mind, so I am saying that particular topic, but any other topic, FIR, or any other trial session, trials, any other trial. Remember, what are the base points that have to be mentioned? Those base points are going to become heading for your answers. Okay. So, for example, any topic, FIR. See, what is an FIR? You can just say that this particular section 154 says, or this is an FIR. Okay. Then you come to essentials of FIR. You know what are essential. It has to be made to a police officer. It can be either oral or writing. The content has to be saying that this particular person, no person has to be mentioned, but that particular offense has been committed, which is a cognizable offense. Okay. So you know that these particular essentials are going to become a separate heading. For every answer, you should have a conclusion. Conclusion is always open-ended. You cannot have a close-ended conclusions. Okay? So you wrote about the particular section, the essentials, any relevant case, and then you conclude your answer. Once you start writing, once you start practicing, you will be able to cover all these aspects within 7 to 8 minutes. If you are able to answer 7 to 8 minutes, your preparation is good. No problem.
Okay, there is long number of students is already in queue. Jyotiba,
I am free. I will answer everybody's question.
So
I have no problem.
We're going to start by in the sequence Jyotiba and then Gauri Kaushik, Surya and Siren. Okay, first Jyotiba, please.
Hello, good evening, ma'am. My name is Jyotitva and second year. So I have two questions in my mind. First is that with regards to studying, do we have to do a substantive study like connecting what we have read to the current affairs, or do we have to do a rote learning? Because it's been a prevalent say that.
Rote learning has been a rote learning has been a very prevalent form of studying for some states, but it will not help you in long run. Okay, rote learning is not going to help you because sometimes what happens is you have prepared everything. Rote learning, you are a good rote learner, you have learned everything. They will miss a question and then you have to use your brain at that very moment. But if you are prepared only by rote learning, immediately you will get blank. And if you get blank, you are going to waste your time. So you have to do substantive study. See, before preparing for any mains or pre, you have to invest a long period of time in getting a base. Now, how will you prepare a foundation? You have to study their act, you have to study a reference book, you have to create your own books. Even if you are not in the strategy of creating notes, that is fine. But keep on marking the reference book. Color your entire reference book. Make it red, brown, green, orange, whatever you want to be. But keep on marking so that you have shortlisted your particular area for a particular topic. Okay. And be prepared for it because the questions are changing. They will change. They will definitely change. I still remember people used to suggest me to Bihar or Uttar Pradesh ke liye. Just do one thing, just practice all the previous years. Practicing previous years is a good option. But only practicing the previous year is not a good option at all. The papers are going to change. The teachers are changing the papers. Of course, the examiners are changing. They are going to change the paper pattern. They are going to evolve themselves and they are going to make new questions. So there is nothing like the previous year is going to repeat. Previous years are not getting repeated. So practicing previous year just for your practicing and your speed. But you have to make a substantial study for your substantial notes for this particular subject. If you have done this, you are prepared for all the states you are appearing.
Also, ma'am, specifically relating to UP, Uttarakhand, and Bihar, because I from Allahabad, Uttar Pradesh. So
I am also from Allahabad, Uttar Pradesh.
Okay, ma'am. Very nice to know that. So, so how can we focus on current affairs for the judiciary? Because for UPSC we have specific sources, and we know that we have to read this newspaper. What about judiciary?
Okay. Now judiciary, I will tell you shortcut steps. Many people will tell you Pratyodika Darpan is a good option. I have not used Pratyodika Darpan, even one particular book of Pratyodika Darpan, I have never used it. Now, when you come to UP, Uttarakhand and Bihar, you have essay writing format. They will ask you one essay. Now, for that particular essay, I used to consult one book, Current Affairs Today, that is published from Drishti Coaching. Now, what you are going to get from that particular book is when you are writing your essay, you have to write some substantial matter, some substantial statistics. Remember, when you are writing an essay, you have to write statistical data. And that data cannot be wrong data. So you need some source to get those data, to get those materials. From there you are going to get that material for your essays, for your mains writing. Because UP has a GK mains paper. So you have to write some material. That particular material is going to come from that books. So these are monthly. Get a subscription for a yearly subscription. They have yearly or 6 monthly subscription. Get a yearly subscription. So your essay is being prepared. Your essay portion is done. Now your current affairs, base current affairs. Keep on reading newspapers. Any newspaper, English newspaper. For Hindi speaking belt, Hindi newspapers are there, but they don't contain content. So I had an online subscription of Hindu, but I don't used to read everything in Hindu. I used to read editorial. Actually, sir has suggested me to take a subscription. So I used to read only editorials from there and some general current affairs. What they will ask you in current affairs is going to come from I don't remember the book Speedy. They tell you it's not a very nice book, but it's a nice book. Speedy. There is Speedy. That book is published only for Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. They will give you a very detailed account of all the current affairs which is going on in India for one particular year. Take any subscription. Take an yearly book, take a quarterly book. Whenever an exam is declared, just remember one thing. Whenever an exam is declared, for example, अगर आज today is the day when he is going to give you an advertisement. आज से एग्जाम तक और आज से 6 महीने पहले का सारा करंट अफेयर जो is going to be in the area.
Archita,
Okay.
we are having large number of students, those who are
Okay,
rising.
okay, fine. So
And
next,
before going to take the Gauri Kaushik, I will say that Jyotiba, as I meet one person in my JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University, and what was every time he is searching persons to distribute books. I said that you are purchased this book the 1 week earlier, and now you are distributing. बोलता है. He said that students generally what they do, they make collection. जितने भी बुक है हम कलेक्शन करेंगे. क्यों? क्योंकि कभी ना कभी तो रिवाइज करने की जरूरत पड़ेगी. लेकिन अगर हम वही चीज कॉन्टेक्स्ट को दूसरे बुक से रिवाइज करें तो दिस इज गुड. सो माई पर्पस इज देयर व्हेन आई परचेज द बुक्स, finish as early as possible. And I will not going to keep this book. I have to read the other book, and this is why I finish as early as possible and distribute to any person. उसके बाद मुझे दूसरा बुक पढ़ना है. So this is inspire me to finish and to take the other book. I am not going to store the book. If I will start storage of book, I will only store, not going to read. Okay. So Gauri,
Very true, sir.
Gauri Kaushik, please.
but if I'm taking your time, you can stop me that other people are there.
Yes. So Gauri is there. Hmm.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. I have a doubt regarding coaching. Like, is it really important? Because there are students who don't have law background, so it's very difficult to know whether our preparation is going in right way. Because guidance is really important for judiciary, and our answer writing pattern is completely different from our semester exam and all. So, what's your view on that?
Okay, for my opinion. See, I am not prepared. I have not joined any coaching. My simple answer was that I was not able to afford any money. Very simple. And number two was that if your foundation is strong, while you are studying in the law, if your foundation is strong, don't go for a coaching. What you are asking me, the main answer writing is not. You have to get a guidance for it. If you feel that you are not able to very much put effort or not able to understand that your answers are correct or not, join any test series for mains. Don't go for the entire course. Just a test series for mains. There are ample of online coaches that offer you a test series for mains. Just join any of them. They are not very costly. They will give you, what they used to do is you write your entire paper. You send them by email. They will send you the feedback by an email. Okay. So that is also one better option. If you feel. However, if you are confident that you are writing good answer, then you don't even need that. I did it once, but then I felt that my answers were good. They were not giving a lot of feedback, so I stopped taking any answers, any test series. So that can be an option. For coaching, I still have this one particular opinion. If your foundation is strong, coaching is not going to benefit. If your foundation is weak and you really want to study from the very beginning, then you need a coaching. Otherwise, you are fine without coaching.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, Surya Jain is in queue. Yes, Surya.
Namaskar, ma'am.
Namaskar.
Ma'am, so in previous two answers, you answered that firstly, we do not have to read everything. We have to filter out the relevant things for judiciary, and secondly, we have to build a foundation. So, ma'am, how do we know what we have to filter out from a book, and how do we build a good foundation?
Okay. So, you state your preference. For example, what is your preferred state?
Delhi, ma'am. New Delhi.
Delhi. Okay. Now, Delhi is a very versatile state. It keeps on changing the papers. But Delhi has a very strong connection with this case materials. So for Delhi and for Haryana, I will say one important. Their entire paper would revolve around the last year cases the courts have judged. The Supreme Court and Delhi High Court for Delhi, the Supreme Court and Haryana High Court for Haryana. Just see what areas they are continuously giving judgments on. Those areas immediately get strong importance. What they do is they frame their questions on the basis of a judgment they have recently passed, and they are assuming that you have read those judgments. For reading those judgments, the easiest option is take a live law subscription. Now live law is doing what? They are giving you an entire record of for each high court and the relevant cases. That is enough. So what you can do is, if, for example, a lot of time section 56 is coming. For example, 56 evidence is coming before the courts. They are answering those questions. Just see, they will ask you one important question from section 56. So their way of asking question depends upon the relevant case. They must have answered this particular year. Okay, so for that you can filter out according to the cases. Only for Delhi and Haryana I am answering, not for other states. For other states, if you want to filter out, you can move to previous year questions. Now, please don't go blindly on previous year questions. They may change the aspect. For example, session trial. For example, session trial is there. Session trial do not have any strong material, just the entire section is there. There may be a case, कि कोई particular case में session trial में कुछ changes have been done. That particular area can be introduced in any state now. Bihar can also take up a question on it. UP can also take up a question for it. Anything I still remember divorce by mutual consent was an area which came up in Bihar because there was a recent important judgment. So they try to shuffle out that their paper becomes important and relevant. So वो भी होगा और आपकी previous year भी आपको areas देंगे. Then you can fill it. Okay.
And now, while, like you said, we have to see the judgments to see the relevant content. So, be it a 20-page judgment or a 200-page judgment, how do we read it from the perspective of judiciary such that we do not waste time in reading all the 200 pages?
See, I will be very clear. I have not read 200 pages. I haven't read. Because that is not possible. You will be consumed in reading one judgment. So what you can do is that whenever live law gives you this particular pages, that giving you important area of that particular judgment, read that thoroughly, and if there are guidelines, very important, if there are any sort of guidelines, then automatically it becomes important. So if in that particular case a guideline is coming up, then you go further and read it. If guidelines are not there, then don't go into that particular judgment. Just read that particular portion which is given in the live law page and you're fine.
Okay,
and just one last question. I'm sorry, sir.
It's okay. It's okay.
I think all the students will have this question since we are all studying in law school, most of us. How should we effectively prepare for judiciary while studying in law school?
If I remember my law school, we never had that kind of stress. Like project making, everything was there, but we still used to have some time, like 3 hours, 4 hours free, we used to have. If you are preparing, while you are still studying in this, if you are studying, it is a very good option. Okay, if you are studying, by the time you are studying, just prepare your notes. Make your notes relevant so that when you are pursuing your judiciary, you have the same notes. You can keep on adding more content to it, but your notes are done. So while you are studying, make your notes and be prepared.
Okay. I think Archita, we will going to have the more questions. This is is so some kind of sort into. I'm not discouraging student because this session I have created especially for students only. So students, so maybe little short length of answer we can take more questions.
Okay, I'm fine. I'll answer.
So Shreya, please unmute yourself. Yes.
Yes, sir. Very good evening, ma'am. My name is Shreya. I am in 5th year.
Okay.
So basically, I'm brushing up my concepts of core subjects of CRPC and CPC. So my specific question is how to read CPC because it is the most exhaustive thing. And since I'm reading this, I'm finding difficulty in how to filter out important portions of CPC from the perspective of judiciary.
Okay. First of all, CPC is going to be tough. However, there is no shortcut to it. You have to read it. By the time, because CPC takes time, by the time you are doing 3 to 4 readings, you will not face this problem. You are facing the problem because you are brushing up now. Keep on brushing up CRPC twice, thrice. You will be fine. Don't worry about it. For getting important orders, see, for CPC, the more stress would be on the orders. Not all orders are important. You can read some orders in between. And now due to shortage of time, I cannot tell you the order numbers. Okay? But what I can help you with is that I can tell you some orders that are important. For example, execution, don't read the entire order. It will not be of any use. Just remember what is garnishing, what is the form of execution. Okay, that is fine. Other orders are important, like indigent person, like your, I'm not remembering, 35 order 41. So those are important orders. You will get questions from there only. You will not, and of course, 1 to 10, don't leave any order. Okay, your orders cannot be skipped. So just remember these important orders. You don't have to read every order, but have a general idea that in case any of the order comes up, you have a general idea to answer that question. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have one last question. Ma'am, since UP has introduced a separate subject of Hindi for language, 100 marks. So, ma'am, since students, ma'am, I am very weak at Hindi. So, how what strategy should I adopt in answering that particular subject language paper of Hindi?
See,
specifically.
now understand. Hindi specifically is going to have one essay, a translation. Essay you have to keep on practicing. There are different essay books. You can refer to them. Essay there will not be any out of the box essay. They will have some relevant topic. You have to answer that. You have to practice Hindi. Translation is a general translation. There is no legal translation. So don't worry. Generally you can write what is in Hindi and English. You have to remember one thing. You are going, as a not strong person in Hindi, I can tell you are going to suffer a little in Hindi. For that you can compensate in English. Okay. Sometimes when our English is not strong, just prepare it to an extent that you can pass. And prepare well in English. Just compensate. Okay.
Okay. We are having Vaishnavi.
Thank you so much.
Vaishnavi and then Jivna.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have a small doubt. Ma'am, how to choose optional subject for our fourth year? Because it would be useful for judiciary as well. So, like, what are the aspects that I should consider and then choose?
Now, yes, honors students, right? Yeah, offer honors. See, the smartest way is to take those subjects which are in English. Definitely core subjects. Like if you have a constitution as a honors, you are good to go. Now, if you don't have any honors subject which you can utilize in judiciary, choose a subject which is out of the box. Why am I telling you this? Sometimes, if your honors subject is very out of the box, you may not get difficult questions in your interview. Like for example, I had my masters in IPR. Okay, they didn't ask me even a single question from IPR in the interview because they were not there because they IPR. So sometimes you can protect yourself. Sometimes it can be a loss also if the other person is an IPR expert. They will ask you hundreds of questions from the IPR itself because they want to do this. Okay, so choose either of the two options. You have one option where any of the judiciary core subjects are there. Choose that. If not, then any out of the box subject.
Okay, Jivna.
Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Your turn. Jivna, are you able to hear me? Okay, I think Jivna is having some network issue. Yes. So please unmute yourself, Jivna. Still, we are not able to hear you.
She can write a question. It's not a big deal.
Okay, if you are having problem, you can write the question in the chat box. Okay, you are having some issue with the mic. Please type. While she is typing, is if someone is having any questions, then it will be good. apart from that, we have almost okay. Shreya has
Oh, essay writing and current affairs. Shreya has this particular question. Okay, Shreya, I used to consult one book for essay writing. See, there are multiple books for essay writing. You can take any of them, read it, but it will not give you any relevant content. It will give you only simple essays, like for example, democracy or Asia. Those are very repeated essays. So for that you can read them. For your current topics for essay, I used to refer one book called Current Affairs Today, published from Dishti. Dishti Coaching is publishing a particular book, and it's a monthly subscription book. So you can take, and from there you can keep on updating your material for SEO.
okay. Kushi, I think she appeared 2-3 times, but still she didn't ask question. And Jeevna, I think she will going to rejoin again. Yes, Kushi. Speak louder, Kushi. Then I think it will be audible.
So you need to speak louder for interview.
I have a question that the state like Chhattisgarh, because I belong from there, and state like Delhi, they have completely different approaches for their people.
Yes, of course.
How did both of them simultaneously? These are interest states.
Yeah, these are totally two different states. For Chhattisgarh, if I'm correct, you just have one pre-examination which will tackle all the subjects in the main examination for judgment writing. Okay, so for that aspect, see, most of the people who prepare for Chhattisgarh are not going to go for very deep because the main examination comprises only the judgment writing. So keep on practicing the judgment writing. But if you want to appear for Delhi, you have to again prepare according to what I used to tell the other person, according to the case materials. So, if you are preparing for both, then keep your studies bifurcated into two areas. One for Chhattisgarh, one for Delhi. Delhi you have to put a lot of stress on it because you have to prepare a lot of subjects. Delhi keeps on updating its syllabus. Chhattisgarh, on the other hand, is a slightly easier game to play. Okay, so for that, you are there also prepared for Delhi also, Chhattisgarh also. Just keep on practicing judgment writing, and you are good to go for Chhattisgarh.
Yeah, can you give some tips on how to prepare for judgment writing and go for any reference?
Okay, judgment writing, there are books. I think you must have referred Robbie, there's one book Robbie, or there is one from Bhargav. I have not referred Bhargav, it's a nice book, but I have not referred. The other one is of Mr. Singh, Singh, or there's this one particular book is very famous, you will find it on Amazon. Okay, that book comes that has previous years of all the states for judgment writing. Read them and start practicing. You have to write on yourself. And there are many practice questions also there. I have used that particular book for Madhya Pradesh. That is good.
Okay, those students are, from NLU Nagpur. The list of book will be shared with Neetu. And those who are from, as Cuttack, from, the Professor Subodha will going to, is going to, and those who are from Delhi, the also will going to share. So I think, from different faculty member, I have already said that, they shared. So with them already, the list of book I will going to share, what will be, the book will be helpful. So can we take the Jeevna questions? Jeevna, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Huh.
Hi, ma'am. So I'm planning to give the judiciary exam in the state of Karnataka. So as I'm from Karnataka basically. So I thought of giving in Karnataka. So can you advise me like how should I prepare for the exams for Karnataka?
See, if I have read about Karnataka Judiciary. So Karnataka Judiciary, if I'm correct, you have one main paper for language. That you have to be strong with because you have legal translation. You don't have general translation. Okay? So start preparing for that, number one, because you have to face that conflict problem. Second is your same problem with the same with Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. You have a paper for current affairs. Okay. So for current affairs and your GKGS, you have to read books. Prepare yourself for that particular area. Now, if I'm correct, Lucent is there. Lucent is a must read. But along with Lucent, you have to prepare your base. So, I prepared my base with Ghatna Chakra. The English version and Hindi version both are available. Read Ghatna Chakra, history, geography, science, political science, and environment and polity. Okay, there are almost a set of 5 to 6 Ghatna Chakra. You have to read them. Once you are prepared with it, then read Bhushan. So you are going to finish with your entire GKGs.
Okay.
Then appear for Karnataka because core subjects are same. The same CPC, IPC, IFC, the syllabus, they are same. They are not added any special act.
Ma'am, I have another question that after LLB, is it preferable to go for practice and then give the judiciary exams or directly give the judiciary exams once completed LLB?
Okay, if your state has a requirement that you need to practice before giving the exam, then you have to do it. There is no other option. If there is no such requirement that you need to have a practice before, you can appear for judiciary. Sometimes they raise a question that you are coming fresh, you have no experience. So to cover that experience, go to the course for 6 months, for a year. Just tell in the interview that you are still with the senior. You have not been for a long time within the course, but you have learned something. Because if you say I was practicing for a year, 2 years, 3 years, they will ask you difficult questions on practice. So it's also a loss. But to learn something and to say something in the interview, you should go to court. Be it 6 months, be it 7 months, don't go for a long time because it's a time consuming thing.
Ma'am, actually we have an internship period for 1 month per year. So that's...
No, they will not consider that.
Okay.
They will not consider internship years.
Ma'am, can you please repeat the books for GKGS?
Okay, Jeevna, books that we will going to
Books
share.
I will write and give, no problem.
So regarding the GK and essay or whatever she has book, while interviews she has discussed, all the books I will going to share with you. Okay. So
Yeah, okay,
no issue about the books. Books I will definitely share with all the students. So I think no more questions has been raised till now. So if there is no questions, so we can the wind up. This was very the good session, that is almost all the questions has been is put by the students. That is, I thought it will not going to go last, ज़्यादा लंबा नहीं चलेगा. Then students already bombarded so many questions, and that is
No, maybe sir, I am answering more than they are not asking that.
really it is very nice because I conducted this session for especially interview. So interview there's students, whatever the problem they are facing for judiciary, at least they will get to know how to prepare, how they will going to structure themselves, what kind of time they will going to utilize. Just these are the things students are facing, and they are not getting the consultation from from the people. And so this is why I will especially say that
I am surprised we have 3, 3rd year, 4th year, 5th year students. They are so aware and they're so ready for it. And I will be very frank. While I was in the 5th year, I had no idea where to start from, who to ask even. I had no contact with seniors. I had no friends with seniors who can tell you and who can guide you. But I was not even that aware. You people are so good. You people are aware. You people are ready for it. And I can surely say many of you will be there with me. I mean, I'll be a senior, but then I'll be there. Okay, with you all. And I'm hoping to see a lot of you before the diocese and be sitting there and judging. I'm sure.
So before going to end, if students all are comfortable, they can turn on video for just for 30 seconds, so we can take a screenshot. So this will be memorable for us. So
Sir, I want to tell something.
Okay, Neetu, that is.
Yes.
Okay.
I think, ma'am, I will be in contact with you for future also, because all these my stars, actually I am putting so much pressure on them always. So I think, as sir also told, so that's why we make one rule कि only 7 days जो है ये लोग book रख सकते library का. Otherwise ये लोग holding कर रहे थे book का. So that rule we are doing. So like all these students, or I think many more students are very much interested in this. So I think for future also I will definitely request you to entertain them or like their questions.
I have no problem. I know count in helping anybody out. you have any issue, ma'am, you can contact me anytime.
And
Yes, ma'am.
for Alliance
Thank
student
you so much.
also, those who are having any kind of issue, any kind of problem, they can, I will invite Archita, and of course she will go.
For Alliance, I am always available.
So please turn on all of your video, for next 30 seconds, so we can take a screenshot. So that will be memorable for us. I think there are already. Okay. Okay, dear. Thank you so much for your long this 1 hour you stayed together, and it was very nice
I just
experience.
hope I was helpful there. I just gave something out and you people could get anything from my experience.
Okay, dear. So we'll meet again. We will have, if any more doubt, we will going to, of course, definitely we're going to invite again. Okay, dear. Thank you so much, all
Thank
of
you so much.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.